Mas é isso. Bem, this streamer just destroyed his image. Eu estou bem curioso para ver esta
has
coisa.
destroyed his image in the last couple of months. And everything that we're covering today is just so laughably stupid that it doesn't even make sense and why he's acting the way he is. Starting with allegedly issuing a false DMCA takedown to an indie game creator because of a joke that he made in his game. And that's far from the only pile of trash that he's been a part of this year, with incident after incident essentially making his entire platform a certified printing press of bad takes. This dude somehow is just mass distributing negative aura. But today we're talking about Pirate Software, or Jason Thor Hall, who's a former Blizzard employee who decided to become a streamer. And in the last few months, he's just slowly became a little bit of a laughing stock of the internet. And this is all mainly for...
Sim, é que o Pirate Software, eu não sei como é que é possível alguém conseguir arruinar tão rapidamente a sua reputação.
saying dumb stuff with full confidence, getting blasted by every corner of the internet, and then doubling down like his ego is on life support, and denial is the only way that's keeping it pumping. So let's rewind a bit.
Mas não foi só isso, Arthur. Foi bem merdas, bro.
Pirate was a part of a hardcore World of Warcraft guild called Only Fangs. They were playing a new twist of World of Warcraft called Hardcore, and it's similar to how Hardcore in Minecraft works. If you die in the game, you lose everything. All the hours you spent leveling on the character is now completely gone. And this new twist brought a lot of people who played WoW back in the day back to the game, including some large influencers. So this guild, by the name of Only Fangs, wasn't just like filled with your I guess your typical MMO grinders. It was also packed with big streamers, and the only way that you would really join this guild is if you had a large platform. And when it came to getting into this guild, it didn't really matter if you were really good at WoW or not. All it really mattered is if you had a large platform. So the people streaming on this guild had pretty solid
Isto era a guild do Soda Pop. Não sei se ele continuou a estar na guild, mas eu acho que sim.
Every death, every wipe, every mistake, it was clipped, memed, and dissected. Pirate previously worked at Blizzard, the company that's behind World of Warcraft, so obviously he's played a lot of WoW. And he made sure that everyone knew this, because it seems like he wanted to be perceived as this big brain WoW player. But in one particularly bad run, Pirate's group made some costly mistakes. What did he do? He just dipped. He straight up abandoned his teammates. It didn't get them killed directly, however the vibe was, save yourself, I'm out of here. Not really a good look for a permadeath game.
During the daily activities of the guild, Pirate Software ran into a situation where his group, or rather the group he was in, he wasn't the leader, made some mistakes. Being that the game is hardcore, if you die, there's no coming back on that character. You have to make a new one, which can take hundreds of hours. So after the mistakes were made, the group fractured and communication broke down. During the chaos, Pirate Software ran for his life and basically adopted a sort of every man for himself mentality.
É que depois toda a gente viu isto, mano. É que na altura o hardcore estava bem na moda, toda a gente viu esta porcaria e o gajo ficou completamente torcidado.
Which didn't necessarily kill his teammates, but he probably could have helped save them.
Now, is that enough to warrant months of harassment? Absolutely not. But this is the internet, where people will turn any scuffed raid on a video game into a full-blown battle of morality. And honestly, did not help that Pirate acted like, he was a galaxy brain here, and he kept doubling down that he did the right call and he couldn't have done anything else to help his teammates, when this definitely was not the case. And I'm not trying to sit here and be like a backseat gamer, as I haven't played a mage in World of Warcraft since Wrath of the Lich King, but there's a lot of snaring he could have done to at least help his teammates have a better odds of survival here. It seems like he just went, see ya, with no effort in trying to save them. Because of this, he was nicknamed Roach for his awful performance, which isn't an uncommon name for this practice in the first place. So while obviously harassment is taken it too far, you can definitely argue that when you stream a game like this, you kind of have to know that you can get some nicknames coming your way if you act like this in this game. And at that point...
Olhem, eu no Guild Wars 2 a mim chamavam-me o tapete. Na minha primeira guild. E olhem, valeu-me... Fui o tapete até deixar de ser o tapete. Mas foi complicado, que nós quando íamos dungeons no início, um gajo estava sempre a morrer, porque eu jogava de elementalista, e o elementalista era estupidamente squishy. Então sempre que levava damage, pima, lá ia eu para o chão. E eles estavam sempre, olha o tapete. Era sempre. Portanto, mas na altura nem sequer builds haviam de jeito, tipo, ninguém sabia jogar o jogo. E eles jogavam todos de Warriors, eu é que teimava em jogar de elementalista. Então pronto. Então chamavam-me o tapete. Depois, entretanto, troquei, fiz um Warrior e comecei a jogar com eles e não morri quase vez nenhuma. Mas fiquei o tapete na mesma, portanto.
You just kind of have to own it, because what's done is done. But he didn't do that. And on January 15th of this year, he was removed from the guild. Okay, so I'm not going to read all that, but he basically gives this in-depth thought process, or as he calls, strategy, behind why he couldn't save anyone. Which, look, it's a game. There's no reason to take it this far.
Man.
But he absolutely could have done way more to help them. And obviously, if you don't play video games or if you've never played WoW before, this probably seems like a massive nothing burger. Which, I mean, in all reality, in the grand scheme of things, it kind of is.
Eu na altura até dei razão.
But,
Tipo, imaginem, dei mais ou menos razão à Pirate Software nesta situação, porque isto é tipo, man, escalar o drama a esta dimensão por causa de uma porcaria de um jogo de World of Warcraft, man, ou de uma dungeon no World of Warcraft é ridículo.
you have to put a lot of trust in your teammates in a hardcore server like this to not lose hundreds of hours of your own time. So either way, the memes flew, and you would think, okay, just ignore it, just laugh it off, maybe say, yeah, I messed up, and keep moving forward. But no, Pirate did what Pirate does best. He just denies everything. He did the absolute best thing that he could do. This guy is a gigabrain. He does everything perfectly. This never apologize energy essentially became his entire brand. And I'm gonna be real, if that was the end of it, we wouldn't be here. There's a reason I didn't cover it when it happened, because I just didn't feel like it was really enough to talk about. It was kind of funny, but like it wasn't really a big enough story. But unfortunately, the Pirate saga just kept evolving like a crappy Pokemon. It's kind of like the evolution of like Nosepass. Nobody asked for this evolution because like once people saw how overly defensive he was, they started digging. And what did they find? The dude essentially LARPing as a genius. One example being like his old live stream VODs where he Googled the solution of a puzzle and then proceeded to pretend to solve the puzzle. Basically, he was on his phone during the stream and suddenly went, oh, I know the answer. And everyone was like, well, is that because you Googled it, dude? So Pirate then responded via stream and said that he did not cheat and seemed pretty taken aback that people even thought that he would ever cheat.
Why did you cheat in Outer Wilds? What?
Cenoura e frutas, tomate e laranja. Que explosão de sabores.
É que este gajo entrou.
How the hell would you cheat in that game? Bro, we played it all live on stream. Alright, bud. It's a wild ass thing to say. What?
Bro, eu se fosse eu dizia logo, sim, mano, eu fui ver a net como é que se resolvia o puzzle, qual é que é o stress. É pá, este pessoal também se leva demasiado a sério, mano.
The hell?
Honestly, it seems exhausting to LARP as a genius. There's this saying that's like, you should never be the smartest person in the room, and that saying is quite comforting because as long as there's someone else in the room, I'm chilling. They can thankfully carry that burden for me. Especially
Sabes qual é que é o problema? É como ele se passa como um jogador exímio, incrível, Big Brain. O problema é que o pessoal depois leva-o demasiado a sério. Então se ele faz esta merda, pronto, está fodido.
In the same room as Galaxy Brain Pirate Software. And speaking of Galaxy Brain takes here, he had a bizarre rant where he trashed the Stop Killing Games movement. A campaign.
Sim, isto foi a última cena que ele se passou com a Stop Killing Games.
Created to preserve digital games before companies shut them down forever. And he misrepresented the whole thing like he hadn't read a single word from the mission statement. With one of his statements describing the campaign as used car salesman garbage. And then told the campaign supporters to eat his entire ass.
Exactly.
Gee, maybe they would if you didn't keep running away. On a serious note, sir, you're just yelling at people trying to protect nostalgia all while sounding like a philosophical Reddit mod who steals quotes from stoic Facebook groups. But either way, Pirate made 2 videos on why he didn't support the movement, basically taking the stance that he was standing up for the devs who couldn't stand up for themselves, saying that of course gamers were into this movement, but devs were getting the short end of the stick. And even if some of those points were valid, he was so over the top and harsh about the movement as a whole, he just sounded like a scumbag. And I'm not even coming for this guy personally, it's just he legit just made 2 videos that are extremely hard to watch and have a very I'm better than you attitude during the whole thing.
And it's really easy to say like, oh, you know, that'll get worked out down the line. But we're dealing with government here. If we're going to be putting up these types of ideas, specifically in front of government, we need to be calling out the right issues, especially if you don't have precedent set. Because now you're going to be setting precedent on something that doesn't make any sense with people that may not understand the nuance of our industry, all in the name of saving games. I can't agree with that.
So in short, that's his take. So to give more context...
Sim, mas isto ele aqui estava calmíssimo. Não era assim que ele estava em live stream.
Here, Stop Killing Games is led by Accursed Farms, or Ross. And Ross partially blames Pirate's influential videos as the reason Stop Killing Games is potentially dissolving right now.
Hello, this is probably the final update to the Stop Killing Games campaign. Though I'm coming at you a little bit like a time traveler would. It'll make sense in a minute. As a refresher, Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement to stop publishers from effectively destroying video games they have already sold to customers. Okay, I really don't want to do this next part, but it's become a liability for the campaign for me not to. Our biggest critic by far is YouTuber and streamer Pirate Software, who goes by Thor. If your only exposure to Stop Killing Games has been this video, then you've been misinformed. This video is by someone who does not understand the campaign, has been trying to stop it, and has been making up what it is about. Now you might be thinking, okay, so some YouTuber got something wrong on the internet. So what? See, that was my thinking too. The problem is how incredibly influential this YouTuber has been. Remember that list of coverage on the campaign? Well, best I can tell, Thor's coverage has been bigger than literally anyone else on those lists, except Asmongold. And the only video Asmongold had on this bigger than Thor's was about Thor's video. So for all practical purposes, Thor here has been the #1 voice on the campaign, and he's been lying about what it is.
And here's a compilation that Ross made of Pirate.
Oh, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is it's. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. Now, eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat then. I dropped the mask entirely. I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing.
So this is just another example of Pirate just doubling down over and over again. And honestly, disagreeing and continuing to double down, that's bad, but nothing...
Sabem que eu acho que isto também é muito disto, é tipo, é o chato instigá-lo vezes e vezes sem conta. Sabem, porque em stream, tipo, um gajo se deixa levar pelo chat, esqueçam. O chat sabe muito bem o que é que há de fazer, que é estar a picar e a dar-lhe coisas e dizer, olha, não tens razão, e não sei o quê... E dizer merdas tipo completamente ridículas e depois um gajo está aqui a tentar defender o ponto dele, mas está pimba, sempre a levar com gajos burros no chat. Sabem, isto a mim acontece-me com política, que é, tenho aqui meia dúzia de parvinhos que vêm cá de vez em quando, tipo, dão takes completamente descabidos e eu estou constantemente a ter que refutar aquela merda porque senão eles não se calam e depois um gajo chega ao final e está super triggered com as merdas. É isto. Mas eu acho que o gajo, pá, não está certo. Claro,
this. As someone decided to make a parody version of a bunch of large streamers in a game called Idle Streaming Bonanza. It was clearly bait, but an obvious joke. And of course, there was a little parody about Pirate in this video game.
Claro.
As much as you're angry right now, of course I ran.
Oh man.
So everyone's being made of fun of. At the end of the day, best thing to do is just take the joke, right? Of course not. It featured an image of a roach. So Pirate completely lost it and allegedly issued a DMCA takedown over a parody that wasn't even in the game yet. Meaning he and his legal team didn't even check before going nuclear. Oh no, someone depicted me as a pixelated roach. Let me get the lawyers involved. Saying that this reaction is pathetic is an understatement. And the whole DMCA ended up...
Não é assim tão objetiva quando se trata de takes completamente descabidos. Imagina, claro que eu dou o meu parecer quando são coisas ambíguas. Agora, quando são takes estúpidos, eu refuto os takes, claro que sim. Porque são parvos.
Being a disaster because the counterclaim stated that the image and voice used wasn't for the Steam version. And with that, the game ended up being reinstated. And this just gave the gaming community way more fuel for their pirate software fire.
There was a dude earlier today that went on to Reddit and said that he was using my voice in a video game, showed a bunch of videos of it, and then put that game up on Steam. A lot of people in the thread told him not to do that, that would end up being a legal problem for him. He did it anyway. So I filed a DMCA claim, and he has now filed a counterclaim against me. We're going to take you to court. You're going to lose. You cannot use somebody's likeness or voice in any way inside of your games without their permission. It's a really stupid thing to do. Incredibly so. So I'm going to send this over to Kronos now because he is a lawyer in copyright law. That is his job.
Did he just admit that the roach was his likeness? Apparently his voice was never in the game, but this just keeps happening. Every few weeks, some clip or moment resurfaces where Pirate is once again doing the most and providing very little. The latest wave of criticism, same pattern as previously mentioned, just says something dumb gets called out, and instead of, leaving it where it is, he just sticks to his like weird little bunker of denial. And it's not even like high stakes stuff, it's just weird that he's dying on these hills. It's not politics, it's not legal drama, it's literally just like video games and online reputation. And that's what makes all this so fascinating. Like, this is a guy who's blown up his own career in slow motion because he can't muster up the courage to just apologize or take a step back and reevaluate his own opinions. And I guess right now he's just kind of in this phase where every time people start to forget about him, he does something else that makes everyone go,
Pronto, se calhar é uma estratégia.
this guy.
Se calhar é uma estratégia para o pessoal se lembrar dele.
I guess he found another hill to die on.
Há
So
muitos
people
criadores de
just
conteúdo
clip
que fazem
him,
isso.
mock him, and even doing dramatic
Só
readings of
vivem
his
à pala de
rants
dramas.
like there's some Shakespearean
muito
tragedy. And the worst part, he seems to be thriving off of it. It seems like the attention, even when it's negative, and I guess is some kind of fuel for him. And it's not really hard to see how we've got here. Like, he may feel like the victim of some harassment, which, yeah,
Mas é interessante.
some of the hate over time has definitely been that. So he sticks around and doesn't back down to
Exato,
anyone.
claro que sim.
If only he just had that
10 não há
attitude
mais
when it
até
came to his
agora.
teammates in World of Warcraft. And now, honestly, if you even
Na
wanted to
internet
change,
já há pá
he's
uns
stuck in this like performance of like resisting the masses because backing down would
15,
feel like defeat,
16.
not
Quer
just
dizer, mais até.
the mob, but also
Se formos contar com os vídeos antigos, quando eu era puto, qualquer dia quase há 20 anos.
himself, I guess. Because let's be real, I wouldn't be here making this
comecei pá
video
em
if you didn't find a new
2016
hill
ou
to
2017.
die on every week or
Peguei,
so.
Gonçalo.
It's just kind of like watching this like weird ego implosion play out in real time. And my biggest takeaway from all this is just why? Why tank your entire reputation over some Reddit posts, a few clips, a parody in an indie game that only got attention because you tried to take it down? Because I mean, at this point, Pirate Software is really just a victim of himself. Because I don't even see the upside of becoming just a massive whiner. But hey, if you want to check out Stop Killing Games, I'll link it in the description down below because I actually agree that if you buy a game, you should be able to play it, no matter if it's now or 5 years from now. And apparently, according to a certain person we talked about in this video, that's a hot take. But at the very least, the game should be available offline. And if the devs need to disconnect servers because I guess the game isn't profitable anymore, at least they should allow the community members to spin up community servers. But hey, what do I know? Let me know what you think because I won't DMCA your opinion.
Oh, a cockroach! We got a cockroach!
Epá, por amor de Deus. Tá bem, sim senhor. Ei, o Leafy is here, voltou outra vez. Mano, o Leafy está todo fodido. O que é isto, bro? What?